This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
The first court appearance held virtually for the suspect in the killing of Charlie Kirk.
But I gotta grab my rifle.
I'm Clayton Neville.
Kash Patel has fought with skeptical Democrats during his first oversight hearing.
I'm not going anywhere.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
A judge in California rejected a request for a new trial for Eric and Lyle Menendez. I'm Ed Donahue.
On Wall Street, stocks open after a losing day yesterday, but it's all about a possible Fed interest rate cut today. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Mangione's day in court and a congressional document dump of more Jeffrey Epstein files.
Federal auto safety regulators have opened an investigation into a possible defect in Tesla door handles. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
All ahead on America in the Morning. The lone suspect in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk 1 week ago on the campus of Utah Valley University faced a judge for his first court hearing Tuesday. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports on some of the evidence released by the prosecution.
Tyler Robinson appeared in court on Tuesday, and Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray said that his office plans to go after the death penalty.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy. Charlie Kirk was murdered while engaging in one of our most sacred and cherished American rights, the bedrock of our democratic republic.
Robinson's charged with aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Gray outlined parts of the investigation and said that Robinson's mother recognized her son in surveillance video of the shooter and told her husband, who then reached out to Robinson.
Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home.
Gray read text messages exchanged after the shooting between Robinson and his partner, who is a male transitioning to a female.
The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
The roommate responded, "What?
You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you."
The partner asked Robinson why.
Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence."
He was seemingly concerned about being linked to the rifle, which belonged to his grandfather, and referred to the inscriptions on the shell casings as meme-like messages.
"If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right. I'm going to have to leave it."
And according to Gray, the casings read,
"The fired cartridge was etched, no Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this?"
Robinson's hearing was held virtually. He only said his name during that hearing and showed no emotion as the charges were read. His next hearing slated for September 29th. I'm Clayton Neville.
The Senate hearing involving Kash Patel turned into a free-for-all at times, with shouting and some insults hurled between Democrats and the FBI director. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
FBI Director Kash Patel has fought with skeptical Democrats during his first oversight hearing since taking over the Bureau. From the start, Patel sought to lay out the FBI's accomplishments during his young tenure, like violent crime arrests.
23,000. More than twice from the same time period last year.
And was defiant.
I'm not going anywhere. If you want to criticize my 16 years of service, please bring it on.
Democrat Cory Booker did.
You have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI.
Adding,
I think you're not going to be around long.
Which led to a shouting match.
It is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that
It is
tears
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can
embarrassment
try all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
you
time
tell-
is.
Senator,
You can't lecture me.
you can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You're not afraid of you,
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Democrat Richard Blumenthal noted Patel's pledge during his confirmation hearing to not seek retaliation against perceived Trump enemies and recounted a purge of top agents and executives.
I'm not going to mince words. You lied to us.
An angry Patel denied that.
The only way people get terminated at the FBI is if they fail to meet the muster of the job and their duties. And that is where I will leave it. And you accusing me of lying is something I don't take lightly, but I'm not going to get into a tit for tat with you.
And says he does not take White House orders on whom to fire. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Strange twist in the saga of the alleged killer of the United Healthcare CEO when America in the Morning continues after these messages. America in the Morning rolls on with a last gasp of summer heat. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton with the forecast.
To the east of a cold front in the nation's midsection that struggles to push eastward today, some late summer warmth and areas where it will be downright hot continue to build from far northeastern Texas to northern Alabama and northward from there straight through the Great Lakes region, with the same strong high pressure blocking the progress of that front, also resulting in enough sunshine to propel highs into the mid-80s to the upper 90s across this large zone, with historical average high temperatures falling quite rapidly in many places as we approach the fall equinox on Monday. These temperatures will represent widespread highs of 5 to 15 degrees above those historical averages, approaching some record highs in spots. More clouds will be in place near and along that front, along with no shortage of showers and thunderstorms, and that means a wet Wednesday, especially from the Dakotas to parts of Minnesota and as far south as northern Missouri, all places where at least some showers should be fairly plentiful. To the south of there, more spotty coverage of thunderstorms extends toward eastern Colorado, Oklahoma, and into eastern New Mexico. To the south and west of there, some tropical moisture pulls its way in from the former tropical storm Mario into areas of the southwest near and along the Mexican border, with the zone from southern New Mexico to the San Diego area able to pick up at least some showers by the afternoon. The rest of the west looks largely dry, but showers and some pockets of steadier rain will again develop around the mid-Atlantic in particular, but also pulling northward toward parts of the northeast as the storm slowly pulls inland. The rain may reach as far north as southern Connecticut by day's end. In Nags Head, North Carolina, today looks cloudy and breezy with a shower or two and a high of 72. For Shreveport, Louisiana, today brings sunshine and heat with a high of 97, near the record of 99 from 2010. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Surprise in a New York City courtroom where a judge tosses the terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione. But as correspondent Julie Walker reports, the judge did not let go the murder charge against the man alleged to have killed the CEO of United Healthcare.
Luigi Mangione walking into a Manhattan court, wrists shackled to his waist, ankles also shackled, wearing his beige jail clothes.
Luigi, how you feeling?
The judge in the state case dismissing terrorism charges against Mangione, charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a city street in December, but keeping the state's second-degree murder charges, which carries a 15-year to life sentence. The judge said that while there is no doubt the killing was not ordinary street crime, New York law doesn't consider something terrorism simply because it was motivated by ideology. Mangione's lawyers arguing the New York case and a parallel federal death penalty prosecution amounts to double jeopardy, but the judge rejecting that, saying it's premature. Mangione's next court date is December 1st, days before he's due in court in the federal case. At criminal court in Manhattan, I'm Julie Walker.
In Los Angeles, a judge says no to a new trial for the Menendez brothers. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
A judge in California rejected a request for a new trial for Eric and Lyle Menendez. Judge William Ryan denied a 2023 petition seeking a review of the brothers' convictions based on new evidence supporting their claims of sexual abuse by their father. They were convicted of killing their parents in 1989 in their Beverly Hills mansion. Just weeks ago, they were denied parole. The judge wrote the alleged evidence is not so compelling that it would have produced a reasonable doubt in the mind of at least one juror, and it does not negate the fact the two acted with premeditation and deliberation when they carried out the killings. In denying parole, commissioners said Kyle Menendez still displayed antisocial personality traits, and Lyle Menendez misbehavior in prison made him still a risk to public safety. I'm Ed Donahue.
Mortgage rates drop, the price of gold shoots up. That in business when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with Wednesday Business.
Wall Street opens this morning after a losing day for the major averages yesterday, but not until the S&P 500 index and the Nasdaq each hit record highs intraday before pulling back. It is Fed rate cut day, or at least that's what investors are hoping for, at least a 0.25 percentage point to be announced this afternoon. Some investors say you have to be cautious and thoughtful about why the Fed would cut interest rates.
Cutting because the economy is weakening is not traditionally a good thing. Just because they're easing and people are getting excited because there's going to be this easing cycle, they're not easing because things are great and productivity is surging. They're easing because the economy is rolling over in terms of the labor market. And that's a very different outcome, and I think people are undercounting the amount of risk out there.
MetLife Investments' Drew Mattis on CNBC. The Fed controls short-term interest rates. It means you could see a tiny drop in the amount of interest you're paying on any credit card balances you're carrying. But you'd also be paid less interest in any high-yield savings or money market accounts where you have cash. The Fed does not directly impact mortgage rates. Those are long-term loans. But mortgage rates have been following the yield on the 10-year Treasury lower lately. The national average for a 30-year fixed home loan is now 6.1%, the lowest in a year, according to Mortgage News Daily. Yesterday, gold hit its 35th all-time high of the year, closing at $3,725 an ounce. Retail sales came in stronger last month than expected, but some of that may be inflation because things cost more.
0.6% increase. Economists were looking for 0.2% increase. That could incorporate higher prices in there. It's not adjusted for inflation, but it also shows a pretty decent consumer picture.
Yeah, although I think if you do fold in some inflation-adjusted models, you're probably looking at about 0.2.
CNBC's Carl Quintanilla and Sarah Eisen. Here's CNBC senior economics reporter Steve Leisman.
Part of what we're seeing in this retail sales number is more inflation on the consumer goods side. You can have consumer strength, that looks to be true. It could also be true that part of what we're seeing here is the result of tariffs working their way into the system.
Americans are already starting to book their flights for the holidays, trying to head off any more plane ticket price increases.
Coming out of Labor Day, you're really starting to book for your fall break, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and bookings have been even stronger as we have come into September. So I actually think that the economy is stronger than some of the backward-looking statistics.
That's United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby on CNBC. In August, plane ticket prices rose by 6% in the government's CPI report, the Consumer Price Index. On today's watch list, the Fed will announce a decision on interest rates at 2 p.m. Eastern.
CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. When we return, the demand for more Jeffrey Epstein files. America in the Morning, back after these messages. The House Oversight Committee has posted a new set of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Committee Chairman James Comer disclosed that the latest tranche includes a transcript of an interview Epstein gave to then Trump Attorney General William Barr, as well as letters from former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Alberto Gonzales regarding Epstein. Last week, the Oversight Committee released a trove of documents, including pages from Epstein's 50th birthday book, which included alleged notes from President Trump and former President Clinton. The document release comes as members of Congress on both sides of the political aisle are demanding the Justice Department release information faster. Shifting gears, two new problems facing Tesla car owners. NBC News is reporting a Tesla they were monitoring failed to stop at a train crossing, forcing the driver to hit the brakes before disaster could have happened. And as Lisa Dwyer reports, Tesla is also under investigation after parents say faulty door handles trapped their kids in the back seat.
Federal auto safety regulators have opened an investigation into a possible defect in Tesla door handles that have reportedly left parents unable to reach into back seats to get their children out of the cars. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says its preliminary evaluation is for the 2021 Tesla Model Y. The agency says that the electronic door handles of the vehicle may become inoperative due to low battery voltage, leaving passengers trapped inside. The agency says it received 4 reports of parents breaking windows to remove a child. The investigation into Tesla's most popular model comes after numerous reported incidents of other problems with opening Tesla doors. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
America in the Morning for Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
Utah prosecutors charge Tyler Robinson with aggravated murder in the killing of Charlie Kirk. I'm Julie Walker.
The Speaker of the House makes the case
for a short-term, clean, continuing resolution.
I'm Rich Johnson.
A former Republican leader from Georgia announcing his Democratic candidacy for governor. I'm Clayton Neville.
TikTok has finally found a new home stateside. I'm tech correspondent Chuck Palm.
Trump lands in London, immigration raids in Boston, an EV maker's new Georgia plant, and Robert Workman with sports.
Robert Redford died at his home in Utah. He was 89. I'm Ed Donahue.
Back after these messages. America in the Morning continues with a check on the nation's weather. Beginning in the east, here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton with today's outlook.
A rather slow-moving storm will continue to push its way farther inland today around the mid-Atlantic, and this does mean another day of showers and some steady rain for that region. However, as the storm crawls a bit farther to the north, some of the precipitation eventually reaches portions of New York's lower Hudson Valley, as well as mainly southern Connecticut. Much of the remaining rain should be on the lighter side, but there will be some areas that end up with a decent downpour here and there, especially toward the coast. In fact, coastal zones from far southern New Jersey to the southern tip of Maryland have the risk for some thunder through the day today. Counting back from the start of this week, total rainfall of 4 to 8 inches through today is most likely from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, where today is actually expected to be largely dry compared to recent days, to the Virginia Beach area. Other rather active areas for today include South Florida, where the latest disturbance interacting with some Gulf moisture brings showers and some heavy afternoon thunderstorms, mainly for the southern Atlantic coast. This means that cities such as Fort Lauderdale and especially Miami, where the rain has really piled up this month, are again in line for some enhanced downpours. The center of the nation and points northward through parts of the plains also look to be wet today thanks to a cold front that really is in no hurry to progress toward the eastern U.S. While any risk for severe weather looks to be quite limited and generally disorganized today, showers and some thunderstorms are still expected to build from Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle through Nebraska and southwestern Minnesota, with much less of a thunder risk into eastern Wyoming and North Dakota. Many places to the west of there should be dry today, but an influx of tropical moisture from what was not once but twice Tropical Storm Mario means a stray afternoon thunderstorm along the Mexican border from California to New Mexico. That's the weather across America. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. The man arrested in the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk faced a judge for the first time Tuesday and heard some of the evidence that will be used against him. Correspondent Julie Walker reports that Tyler Robinson is facing murder charges and also the possibility of the death penalty if convicted.
DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger.
Utah prosecutors charged Tyler Robinson with aggravated murder in the killing of Charlie Kirk.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy.
County Attorney Jeff Gray outlining evidence, including a text message confession to the suspect's partner and a note saying he had the opportunity to kill one of the nation's leading conservative voices and was going to take it.
The defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
The charges mean the 22-year-old could face the death penalty.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime.
Prosecutors say Robinson's DNA was found on the trigger of the bolt-action rifle used in the September 10th assassination as Kirk took a question on mass shootings, gun violence, and transgender people at Utah Valley University. Gray declined to answer a question about whether transgender issues played a role in the motive, but did read from a text exchange between Robinson and his roommate.
Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
Prosecutors say Robinson shot Kirk from the roof of a nearby building at the university.
The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it.
After the FBI released his photo asking for information, he turned himself in at the urging of family and friends. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump begins the day meeting with King Charles at Windsor Castle during a multi-day trip to the UK. Covering the president's travels, here's our John Stolnis.
Air Force One touched down late last night as the president said he was looking forward to his visit.
We've had a great flight. Our fantastic ambassador, we appreciate the job he's doing. We'd like to talk. Really well, really well. The relationships are great. And he's been outstanding, so I want to thank him and for welcoming us.
Prior to leaving, Trump spoke to reporters at the White House, noting he is the first U.S. president to get a second state visit to the UK.
Well, my relationship is very good with the UK, and Charles, as you know, who's now king, is my friend. And it's the first time this has ever happened where somebody was honored twice, so it's a great honor. And this one's at Windsor. They've never used Windsor Castle for this before. They used Buckingham Palace. And I don't want to say one's better than the other, but they say Windsor Castle is the ultimate, right?
However, not all Londoners are enamored with Trump's arrival, these two protesters included.
He's the most dangerous man in the world.
He's in Putin's pocket. He's making the war in Palestine worse. He's supporting Netanyahu, Christo-fascism in America.
On the agenda, a multi-billion-dollar tech deal between the two nations, with plans to discuss the Middle East and the war in Ukraine.
Well, he's going to have to get going and make a deal. He's going to have to make a deal. Zelensky's going to have to make a deal. And Europe has to stop buying oil from Russia.
King Charles will host Trump at Windsor Castle Wednesday before discussions with Prime Minister Keir Starmer the following day. 4 people were arrested after a stunt in which a projector was used to splash images of Trump with his former friend Jeffrey Epstein partying together onto Windsor Castle shortly before his arrival. The White House says the visit will highlight what they call deep ties between the U.S. and the U.K. John Stolnis, Washington.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is proposing a short-term government funding bill through Thanksgiving, but it'll be a challenge to find enough Democrats to support it. More on the measure from correspondent Rich Johnson.
With the federal fiscal year ending in 2 weeks, Johnson says they're not ignoring the need for permanent funding bills.
Appropriators are actively engaged in ongoing bipartisan conversations to fund the government for FY26. So we have to allow time to do that.
So for now, he's making the case
for a short-term, clean, continuing resolution that will keep the government funded and operating at current levels while we continue all this work.
Senate Republican leader John Thune's on board and hopes Democrats will join in.
We are going to give them every opportunity to vote for a clean CR.
The measure is not completely clean. It would add $30 million to beef up security for members of Congress, a direct response to the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. But a continuing resolution is just that, continuing the budget priorities laid out earlier this year in President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, including cuts to health care.
We will not be complicit in passing any legislation that takes away health care from the American people.
California Democrat Pete Aguilar, who is in lockstep with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries.
If Republicans want to continue to gut the health care of the American people, there will not be Democratic support.
You'll recall that last year, Republicans and Democrats thought they had a done budget deal. Then House Republicans backed out under pressure from then President-elect Trump. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer eventually backed a new funding bill that gave Trump more of what he wanted, and Schumer suffered huge political blowback. And as for this year, Thune says,
there are Democrats out there who think it's a really bad idea, like they did last year, to shut down the government. And if in fact that's the case, hopefully they will deliver the votes that are necessary for us to keep the government open, keep the lights on.
But Schumer has already said he's willing to risk a government shutdown unless Republicans give in on some health care items. I'm Richard Johnson.
Immigration crackdown in a Northeast sanctuary city. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. A former Republican leader in Georgia is vowing to stand up against President Trump as he announces his candidacy in the Democrat Party for governor. Correspondent Clayton Neville has the story.
Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan was an outspoken critic of President Trump. After Trump's 2020 election loss to former President Joe Biden, Georgia was the center point of the president's claims of voter fraud. Duncan changed parties and previously warned on Fox News Digital about dangers of Republicans winning the governor's race in Georgia.
The Republican slate is going to be dominated by whoever Donald Trump endorses. And that person's going to be a sock puppet for Donald Trump.
This week, Duncan announced his candidacy in the governor's race and joined a crowded field of Democrats. In a statement, he pledged to stand up to President Trump and what he called his yes men. He also promised to bring down costs for Georgians. I'm Clayton Neville.
A Northeast sanctuary city is the latest to face a Department of Homeland Security immigration crackdown. Correspondent Marcela Sanchez reports.
President Donald Trump is intensifying immigration enforcement in sanctuary cities like Boston. Advocates report increased activity from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, with unmarked vehicles targeting work vans. ICE's latest immigration crackdown has been dubbed Patriot 2.0 and follows the arrest of nearly 1,500 immigrants in Massachusetts in May. The Justice Department has filed a lawsuit against Boston over its sanctuary policies, claiming its mayor and police department are interfering with immigration enforcement. Protesters have gathered at facilities like the ICE office in Burlington. Immigration rights activist Kim Gillette was outside of the office, dressed as the Statue of Liberty, and says she's against the treatment of individuals who are often fleeing very terrible circumstances.
And it's inhumane the way it's being done. It's frightening entire communities. It's keeping children home from school. It's keeping people from jobs, and it's going to have consequences for all of us.
I'm Marcela Sanchez.
Following news that Ford is laying off workers in a German EV plant due to slowing sales abroad, one electric vehicle maker in the U.S. is saying full speed ahead, despite cutbacks on incentives and slowing EV sales in the States. Correspondent Ben Thomas reports Rivian is breaking ground on a new plant in Georgia.
Electric vehicle maker Rivian believes its vehicles are superior, and company leaders are expressing confidence they'll succeed even without environmental and tax incentives. The California-based company has yet to turn a profit, and as of September 30th, electric vehicle buyers will no longer qualify for a $7,500 tax credit after President Trump's successful effort to kill it. Still, Rivian's going ahead with the groundbreaking for a $5 billion electric vehicle plant in Georgia. Rivian sees it as key to reaching profitability, adding to its current production plant in Illinois. Rivian's truck prices start at $71,000, but the Illinois plant will begin making smaller SUVs next year, with prices starting at $45,000. I'm Ben Thomas.
Frustrating when the internet slows down, but in Afghanistan, the ruling Taliban has decided to ban Wi-Fi in one Afghan province. The details from correspondent Charles de Ledesma.
The Taliban's Hibatullah Akhundzada has cut a fiber optic network connection in an Afghan province to prevent immorality, a spokesman for the administration says, adding there was no longer any cable internet access in the Balkh region. It's the first time a ban of this kind has been imposed since the Taliban seized power in August 2021. It leaves government offices, the private sector, public institutions and homes in the northern Balkh province without Wi-Fi. Mobile internet remains functional, however. The official explained the measure has been taken to prevent poor morals, and an alternative will be built within the country for necessities. It's not known if the shutdown is going to be spread to other provinces. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
TikTok and a consortium of U.S. companies reached an agreement to create a 100% U.S. version of the popular social media app with data security provided by tech powerhouse Oracle. Chuck Palm has the story in today's Tech Report.
A powerhouse consortium led by Oracle and private equity giant Silver Lake, with Andreessen Horowitz in the mix, is set to snag an 80% controlling stake in TikTok's new U.S. operations deal. This will create a new standalone company for American users, complete with an all-American board, saving one seat for Uncle Sam. ByteDance will control the remaining 20% of shares and will continue global operations under the original company. Oracle will guard the data, protecting user info in a secure Texas facility to ease all national security jitters. This comes hot on the heels of President Trump's executive order delaying a 2024 divestiture law until mid-December, sealing a U.S.-China pact to keep the app dancing stateside. TikTok is already testing a U.S. version of its app with a brand new algorithm, preparing to migrate millions of its creators and their viewers. Follow me on X @ChuckPalm.
Midweek Sports is in on America in the Morning. Here's our Robert Workman.
Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh just keeps on going. He hit 2 more homers last night, number 55 and 56 in a 12-5 rout of the Royals. That's the most dingers ever by a switch hitter, passing Mickey Mantle, and it ties the Seattle record held by Ken Griffey Jr. Raleigh's teammate Dominic Canzone homered 3 times, in case anybody asks, and the M's have now won 10 games in a row. The Phillies were held hitless by Shohei Ohtani for 5 innings in L.A., Then after he left the mound, they scored 6 times in the 6th and went on to beat the Dodgers 9-6 on Rafael Marchand's 3-run blast in the 9th. Brewers bashed the Angels 9-2. Freddie Peralta fanned 10 and tied the Major League lead with his 17th victory. Blue Jays shaded the Rays 6-5 for their 6th straight win. Guardians got by the Tigers 7-5 in 10 innings for their 10th win in the last 11 games. Yankees built a 9-run lead, then held on for a 10-9 win over the Twins. Also in the AL wild card, the Astros edged the Rangers, while the Red Sox lost to the A's. National League wild card, the Cubs sank the Pirates. Mets scored 5 times in the first and topped the Padres. And the Diamondbacks rallied past the Giants. Arizona's still in the hunt. That's Wednesday Sports.
Thank you, sir. The passing of a screen legend when America in the Morning continues after these messages. He was a film icon, an Oscar-winning director, and called the Golden Boy of Hollywood. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports on the passing of the legendary star Robert Redford.
His publicist says Robert Redford died at his home in Utah. He was 89. Redford created some of the best-loved characters on the screen, In The Way We Were, The Natural, and All the President's Men, among others.
Where'd you get this? I made it myself from a tree near home. Wonder Boy. Put that on there? What does it mean? I made it a long time ago when I was a kid. I wanted it to be a very special bat. How about this lightning bolt? The tree that I made it from was split open by lightning.
He told the AP in 2003, filmmaking fed his soul.
Characters I like to play are characters that learn from some experience. And they're usually up against a system that disenfranchises the individual.
Redford did play a villain in 2 Marvel movies.
As difficult as this is to accept,
Captain America is a fugitive.
Robert Redford says he wasn't always a hero on screen.
Sometimes those characters, if you look carefully, are not lily white. They just maybe come off that way. I don't know that there's any such thing as a pure hero. I mean, if you can look at all the great heroes of our time, Gandhi and all people like that, you usually find there's some darker side to them.
Redford won an Oscar for Best Director. He was also the founder of the Sundance Film Festival. I'm Ed Donahue.
Actor Malcolm Jamal Warner is remembered by his mother nearly 2 months after his tragic death at a Costa Rica beach. Kevin Carr has that story.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, was one of the many stars remembered during the In Memoriam segment at the Emmys on Sunday night. His sitcom mother, Felicia Rashad, paid tribute to him during her introduction.
He was a beloved teenager in an iconic television series who the world watched grow into manhood. Malcolm Jamal Warner remains in our hearts.
In July in Costa Rica, Warner died from drowning at the age of 54. He had been on the beach with his family and was caught in an undertow. Tuesday's Good Morning America featured an interview with his real-life mother, Pamela Warner, speaking out publicly for the first time about her son's death. She took the opportunity to clarify some of the facts, including the reports his daughter had been in the water with him.
He was with another gentleman. The same thing happened to the other gentleman, but he was a more experienced swimmer, and he was able to rescue himself.
She also reflected on her relationship with her son.
I'm at peace with everything that happened. There was nothing left on the table. There was no shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish I had said this. I wish I had done this. I don't have that.
Finally, Pamela offered her thoughts on how she wants fans to remember her son.
Continue to support his legacy and support the MJW Living Legacy page. And love where you can, give when you can. Just be better.
I'm Kevin Carr.
America in the Morning for Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.